And hello, everybody. Once again, day 5 of the Olympics as we start our live stream has just come to a close just past midnight in Paris, 6 o'clock in the east, 3 p.m. out here in the west, and another very, very full day of Olympic action. 18 more medals awarded today, including we saw the men's and the women's triathlon against good advice, I would say. Probably should not have taken place, but they did, and those are done. There's still more events coming up in the Seine, but those are done. We saw gymnastics, we saw diving, we saw swimming, including an American winning a gold medal, just the 5th gold medal for the U.S. in these Olympics. All that. Oh, we saw the soccer, the final day of women's soccer match day play in the group stage, and we learned our quarterfinal matchups. So a whole bunch of sports. Basketball, U.S. men's national team played 3v3 basketball. A lot of tennis today. Some volleyball, some beach volleyball. So really just a very busy day at the games. More fencing, judo, shooting, archery, field hockey, handball, and we will get into all of it. But first, a reminder that to follow us on Twitter at C&C Talks Podcast and to join our Discord page at cctalks.com/Discord. All right, without further ado, I think that we get into it with an event that we've discussed this many times over the last few days on this show, about just the quality of the water in the Seine, and should they even be holding the triathlon there? And of course, it was too late to really change it. Their contingency plan, if the conditions never improved, was apparently to just have the biking and the running part of the triathlon, just take out the swimming part, which is just something you cannot do. I feel like it's like you have to figure out some way to do the triathlon, but I don't think that this was the way to do it. We talked about yesterday. They test the water twice a day, and then it takes 24 hours for the test results to come back. So really, the information that they have for deciding whether the race is going to take place, it's based on water tests that were taken 29 hours before the race is set to begin. In addition, a few hours before the race began today, it was raining in Paris, and we know that rain is something that's going to continue to pollute the Seine because of runoff into the water. So there's really a very, very low chance that this was actually a good idea to have the swimming portion of the triathlon take place in the Seine today, but go ahead, it did, and in the women's triathlon, a French woman won, Cassandra Bjorgrand, a Swiss finisher in second place, Julie Darren, and Beth Potter from Great Britain finishing in bronze in the triathlon, with actually some pretty good times in this triathlon. All top 3 all finishing in less than an hour 56 minutes, with first place and second place just separated by 6 seconds overall. So actually ended up being a quite good, a very, very good triathlon. And Julie Darren from Switzerland actually led heading into the run, just by a few seconds. Lost that lead in the end. Lost a 9-second lead. Sorry, lost a 3-second lead at that point. Bjorgrand won the running portion by 3 seconds. By 9 seconds of that race, which led to the 6-second victory. And then the men's triathlon, it was a Brit that won, Alex Yee, Wild Hayden from New Zealand finishing in second. I believe the first individual medal of these Olympics for New Zealand, and another Frenchman finishing in bronze. It's just been so far a very, very good Olympics for the French. Their home Olympics, 26 medals overall, 8 of them gold, 10 of them silver, 8 of them bronze. So just overall a very, very strong performance from them. Not quite as many medals as the U.S. has, but almost double the number of gold medals that the U.S. has. U.S. Has more silvers and more bronzes than anyone else. China has more golds than anyone else. France is in second in all three of those categories, as well as second in the overall medal table at this stage in the Olympics. And as we move on from that, let's move to the diving events next up. This was the women's synchronized 10-meter platform. We've got all the synchronized events first, and then we go into the individual events coming up in just a couple of days. And in diving, I mean, we just have to talk about China's dominance so far. 3 diving events so far: the men's synchronized springboard, women's synchronized springboard, and the men's synchronized platform, and then the women's synchronized springboard and the women's synchronized platform. 3 golds for China. All 3 of these they've won gold in. And Great Britain also put up a good performance too. 2 bronzes and a silver, so they've been on the podium every single time. But I mean, just absolute dominance from China in the diving events so far. They looked very, very good today. And then North Korea actually coming in second place, their second medal of these Olympics. We talked about their first one a little bit on the live stream yesterday. In addition to this, we will move from that to gymnastics. Men's all-around final today. Pair of Americans competing in this, and neither of them ended up on the podium. That would be a Paul Judah, as well as Frederick Richard, finishing in 14th and 15th place respectively. It was Shinosuke Oka from Japan winning, Boheng Zhang and Rutang Zhao from China finishing in second and third. And for Oka to win the gold, this was in large part about the parallel bars. And to be fair, Boheng Zhang also put up a great score on the parallel bars, but for both of them, this was their strongest apparatus. Scores well over 15, just incredibly impressive performances here. Oka had a rough performance on the rings, more than made up for it on the parallel bars, and really just all around pretty solid elsewhere. Great floor exercise, great on the horizontal bars, great, really good on the pommel horse. An okay vault, not amazing, but an okay vault, and ends up being enough to win the gold, especially huge gains on second and third place in the floor exercise, in particular in the pommel horse as well. That's really where Oka made his gains. Tomorrow, of course, we'll see Simone Biles try to get the women's all-around gold for the U.S., as well as Suni Lee, the defending champion in the women's all-around. Both of them trying to get up onto that medal podium. We'll see what they can do. As we move on from gymnastics to swimming, 5 gold medal finals today in swimming, finishing up just over an hour and a half ago. And we'll start with Katie Ledecky. This is the event that she dominates, the women's 1500 meter. And it's so special to watch her here, because this is the race where, not even in the last lap, in like 3 or 4 laps prior, she's just going in the complete opposite direction from everybody else. That's just how dominant she is here. So the U.S. getting that gold medal, as to the shock of absolutely nobody. This is Ledecky's event. She now has the top 20 times of all time in this event. Incredibly impressive from her. Someone from France finishing second, and Germany finishing third in this event. The other big story from swimming was the Frenchman Leon Marchand. He's already won a gold. He won 2 more tonight, 2 golds within roughly 2 hours of each other in the pool, in the men's 200-meter butterfly and the men's 200-meter breaststroke. This was also just incredibly impressive because Marchand got Olympic records in both of these events. Just incredible, incredible stuff. Really never a doubt. Obviously, the French crowd was really into it, as they have been through every single one of his streams. Sorry, every single one of his swims. We're doing a stream. He's doing the swim. Through every single one of his swims so far, in first place, including in that men's 200-meter butterfly. Just a ridiculous, ridiculous comeback against the Hungarian Christoph Milak. He was behind by quite a bit, ends up winning by more than half a second for the Olympic record, which he takes by just 400ths of a second over Christoph Milak, which he had won back in Tokyo 3 years ago. Also, still the holder of the world record. Marchand will have to speed up by almost a second in order to beat that, which is also one of the things that makes this run by Marchand so impressive to beat Milak, is just because Milak just 2 years ago broke the world record. So he's still an absolutely elite swimmer. Now, of course, he didn't quite put up the times that we expected him to today, but Marchand definitely did, and then some, an Olympic record for him. Elsewhere in the pool, another American medal for Tori Husk. She's won the gold and the silver in a relay, but the gold in an 100-meter butterfly, I believe, and another silver here. This is a very, very close race. The 30-year-old Swede Sarah Söderström coming in, getting the gold here. This was an event that she has. Her main event is the 50. She has the world record in this event, but it was back in 2017. Really hasn't swam it much recently. Comes in here, ends up winning the gold. Just so many cool storylines today in the pool. And then the one other, the first world record that we have broken in the pool in these Olympics. Pan Zhanlei from China in the men's 100-meter freestyle. Just an unbelievable race from today. He has the world record. He set it in Doha and back in February, but now today, he had the world record, so he broke his own world record, and he broke it by 0.4 of a second here. Just really unbelievable. Won this race by over a second over the Australian Kyle Chalmers and the Romanian David Popovici. Yeah, over a second to win a race in the 100 meters is absolutely insane. An achievement that it's almost certainly the biggest achievement in the pool at these Olympics so far. Especially since, in addition, first one to break a world record, and didn't just break it, broke his own, and broke it by by exactly 0.4 of a second. Just unbelievable stuff. Elsewhere in the medal table today, the men's saber finals. This is somewhere the U.S. They have a couple of really good men's saber players, but can never quite live up to the expectations of the Olympics. Eli Dershowitz, in particular, crashed out in the round of 32 a few days ago in the individual, blew a lead to Iran in the quarterfinals of the team event today. Iran ends up getting fourth, France the bronze medal in third, Korea winning another gold in fencing, Hungary with the silver. Hungary's actually put up a pretty good performance in fencing so far as well. Another event that we know that that country knows that they do canoe sprint that's coming up in a few days, but the canoe slalom, this is another event that the U.S. won a medal. Evie Leibfarth winning the bronze medal here, Jessica Fox winning the gold. She already won a medal in the kayak slalom, winning the gold here. Elena Lilac from Germany, the bronze. Final couple medals before we move on to other non-medal events today. In judo, in men's, Georgia won the gold, Japan silver, and then bronze is going to Greece and France. And then in the women's 70 kilograms, Croatia, gold, Germany, bronze, and then Belgium and Austria. Sorry, Germany, silver, Belgium and Austria, bronze. So we've seen actually several countries winning their first medals today at these Olympics, including some countries that you think might have won a couple by now. Just today, managing to get on the board. Shooting, this was another incredible performance by the Guatemalan Adriana Ruano Oliva from Guatemala to win the gold over an Italian and an Australian, and then the final couple of medal events of the day is in rowing and in BMX freestyle. Paris Benegas from the U.S. gets on the podium in women's BMX freestyle, a silver medal behind Yawen Dang. Natalia Dam getting the bronze for Australia, and then in the men's medal for Argentina, their first gold these Olympics, unless I'm mistaken. Kieran Riley of Great Britain, the silver. Anthony Jean-Jean of France getting the bronze, and of course, the crowd fully behind him. So, from there, I say we go on to rowing final medals of the day. Well, we didn't exactly go in chronological order, but the final ones that we have not talked about here on this live stream so far: men's and women's quadruple sculls. For men's, it's Netherlands, Italy, and Poland on the podium. For women's, Great Britain, Netherlands, and Germany. U.S. does have some chances in some rowing events coming up in the next couple of days, so do keep an eye out for that. Lots of good opportunities for the U.S. coming up soon. More events in the pool, track and field getting underway. We know that there's several track and field athletes that can win a gold for the United States. Obviously, some of those team events, such as basketball, such as women's soccer, maybe more on that in a minute. Maybe a couple medals coming in tennis. We'll talk about tennis more in a bit too. Maybe some medals in volleyball or beach volleyball. Some chances for gold in those events, and then golf starting soon. It's probably you got to like the U.S.'s chances to get a medal or two in the golf competitions. That men's golf starting tomorrow in these Olympics. But we now move on to today and what happened that was not medal events, or at least not medal finals yet. And it was just another humiliating day for the U.S. Women's 3v3 basketball team. It's a bad loss. U.S. men lost 2 to Poland, but that team's not quite as known for being quite as good. This is a loss by the U.S. women to Azerbaijan. This is not a country that the U.S. should be losing in 3v3 basketball to. And again, we discussed this yesterday. There's players that you could field, players that just missed the Olympic 5v5 team, the full basketball team, that you could field. Like, put Caitlin Clark on the 3v3 team. Please, just do it. But now at this point, the U.S.'s chances for a medal here, an event that they won gold in back in Tokyo, are looking to be almost zero at this point. Now, in basketball, we did see the U.S. men play today against South Sudan, a team that they struggled with in a friendly at the USA Basketball Showcase a few days ago. Looked really bad because LeBron had to make a game-winning layup almost as time expired. That was not the story today. 103-86 was the win here, and that doesn't even fully do it justice. They looked very good the entire game. Bam Adebayo, actually, he had a big game for the United States today. 18 points on 8 of 10 shooting, so very efficient for him. LeBron James, of course, also a big day, 12 points, as well as Kevin Durant. Interestingly enough, only one did not play today. We saw Tatum didn't play on against Serbia. Neither did Tyrese Halliburton. They both played today. Tatum even started. Neither of them got a ton of points, but Tatum did get a lot of minutes, over 17. Joel Embiid did not play today. And after how he looked against Serbia, I can't really say that I blame Steve Kerr and the rest of that U.S. Coaching staff, Mark Few, Eric Spoelstra, Ty Lue. I just can't say I blame them. He was bad, and it wasn't just that, oh, what he was doing was bad. It felt like he just didn't fit on the floor. Like he didn't have a clear space for him out there on the floor, and that's a problem that's I feel like much harder to solve. And so like it's not like we'll be seeing him sit for the rest of the Olympics, I imagine, but you've got to figure out some way to get him in the game and make him like make your system work with him there. And I think you got to play him a bunch against Puerto Rico. The Puerto Rico is a game you should win. You'll probably already have a spot clinched in the knockout round heading into that game. So just put him in there and see what happens, I guess. Um, Speaking of Puerto Rico, they lost badly to Serbia today. 107-66, even worse than the U.S. beat Serbia by a few days ago, and then the first couple games, Group A of women's basketball of the second day of group play, Spain, narrow win over Puerto Rico, Serbia, a win over China, pretty big win over China. So China, they came in here as the number 2 ranked team in women's basketball. 2 losses already, and one of them a pretty bad loss. This one was 81-59 today. So this is a team that's really struggling for, I don't know why. I mean, but they've they've they haven't looked good. They had obviously a few days ago that really weird ending to the game where they just didn't seem to know what to do when they were down there. Like they should have fouled, they just didn't foul. And and this loss, they just look bad. Like no other way around it. They just didn't look like a good team. And now sitting in last place in their group, behind even Puerto Rico. So highly doubt at this point that China is going to be able to advance here. That's their final game against Puerto Rico. So if they get a win there, maybe a big win there, and then maybe they'll have a chance to advance out of that group. But I just don't know, man. And we move on away from basketball to the tennis court. This is a very bad day for Coco Gauff. Really bad couple of days. Lost yesterday in singles. Now losing both of her doubles matches today. Doubles with Jessica Pegula, mixed doubles with Taylor Fritz. Both out. And not a good day for Fritz either. He and Tommy Paul did advance for the Americans in men's doubles, which is good for them, and as well as Tommy Paul advanced on his own, but Fritz lost obviously with Coco Gauff, but then also in singles, a bad loss for him. So just really, the U.S. tennis has not looked great. Now I will say they did defeat a U.S. men's duo today did defeat the Rafael Nadal Carlos Alcaraz pairing, which I don't think anyone really thought had a good chance of getting a medal, but was definitely a very fun pairing to watch. But if you look at that men's doubles bracket at the moment, we're pretty deep into this at this point, and it's looking pretty good for the Americans. The teams that are remaining at this point is not many. We have the semifinals set. We've got a excuse me. Not we do not quite have them set. One pairing still missing. It'll be the winner of the Fritz Paul versus the winner of Evans and Andy Murray, Daniel Evans and Andy Murray, which again, Andy Murray's last career event that he's playing in tennis. but there's a non-zero chance that there's two U.S. men's doubles duos in the final here, which would be huge because everywhere else they have essentially no chances of getting medals, already out of medal contention in men's no, sorry, in women's singles, in mixed doubles, in I believe they're done in women's doubles as well. So men's singles, they do have Tommy Paul left, but his competition for the next round is Carlos Alcaraz, and I just don't think he can win that match, unfortunately. So we expected maybe a little bit better from the U.S., especially on the doubles side, a couple medals there maybe. We just did not see that materialize whatsoever. So bad day for the Americans. Yeah, women's doubles, U.S. also no teams left there. So yeah, so tennis, huge underperformances for the Americans. Table tennis, maybe a little bit less so, actually, surprisingly. So to some extent, we had an American get pretty far to the round of 16. Konik Ja lost to China in the end. Wasn't close, but that's kind of expected in U.S. table tennis, unfortunately. So that's their journey in table tennis is done, but I think doing better than a lot of people expected that they would do. I'm going to try to just kind of wrap this up in the next few minutes. We've in case you're just joining us, this is C&C Live. We've gone through all the medal events today. We've gone through tennis, table tennis, basketball, 3v3 basketball. Let's look at some of those other team sports before we hop off of here, and we'll start with women's football. Final day of group play here, and the United States, another win. This over Australia. They've beaten some good teams, and they will be moving on in this group. In first place, U.S. and Germany will both advance. France advancing in Group A, as well as Colombia and Canada too. We've talked about their 6-point deduction. They still managed to advance. That deduction didn't really end up costing them. They've advanced out of the group, and then in Group C, Spain, Japan, and Brazil all moving on there. So the U.S. will play Japan in the quarterfinals. Not the easiest of matchups, but I think definitely a winnable matchup. And if they win that, then a really good shot to get up on the podium, something that I don't think we really thought of at the beginning of this tournament for the U.S. women. U.S. men also a decent chance to get to the semifinals in a couple days if they can get a winner from Morocco, who has looked good actually. So it's definitely not an easy one, but it's one that it's something they could absolutely win. In volleyball and beach volleyball, the U.S. duo of Sarah Hughes and Chang, and Kelly Chang, excuse me. It's getting a win, no surprise. Huge medal opportunities for the Americans there. Big win for the U.S. in volleyball too. A close win in normal volleyball for the United States today over Serbia. Sorry, over Serbia. 3-2 ends up going to I believe they had to the final set extended by a couple of points because of it was close to obviously the win by 2 rule. And so then let's see, 3 final things to end on. We'll start with water polo. U.S. women back on track with a win over Italy. Handball, Frenchmen not fully back on track. They did manage to eke out a point with tying the game as time expired. Literally the final second, could not have been any more close to tie Egypt. But again, if you just look at the teams that they're playing, Egypt's not that good at handball. And France, who's the defending gold medalist, needs to be a lot better. They're in 5th place in their group. As of right now, would not be qualifying. Egypt has won 1 game. They almost beat France. Not a medal contender. Denmark, France's biggest rival, they're fine. They're 3-0. They've already qualified for the next round, qualified for the quarterfinals. France hasn't, and this is shaping up to possibly be a huge disappointment for the French unless they can really turn things around really, really quickly. And then finally, in field hockey, the U.S. women were playing today and didn't go great. Big loss to Australia, 3-0. Guess the U.S. avenged that in the soccer match, which circling back to that real quick, it did end up actually being really close. Australia almost got the equalizer in stoppage time, not quite able to get there. But that does it for team sports, and I think that is where we are going to leave off for this. Thanks for joining us, for listening. For more information on C&C Talks, cctalks.com. Join our Discord, cctalks.com/Discord. Twitter's at CC Talks Podcast. Charlie is at CC Talks Charlie. Listen to our episodes right here on YouTube, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcast, anywhere else that you listen to podcasts. Again, go to cctalks.com for more details on all of that. We will be back here tomorrow for day 6 at the Olympics, and a lot to go over with, as is currently scheduled, 20 medals to be awarded, as well. We've got events tomorrow: volleyball, beach volleyball, tennis, table tennis, surfing. We should actually get the finals of that tomorrow. We hope. Shooting, sailing, rowing, judo, handball, gymnastics, the women's all around, golf, field hockey, fencing, jumping, equestrian, BMX bike, and more of that. Slalom, boxing, 3v3 basketball, badminton. We've got our first couple of competitions in track and field, including we can start with the race walk tomorrow. That should be incredibly, I don't know if exciting is the right word, but I do love the race walk. One of my favorite Olympic events: archery, water polo, more swimming, and should just be another great day of Olympic competition. We'll be back here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time to recap it all for you tomorrow. But that would be now 8 live streams down, 11 more to go here in these Olympics here at C&C Talks. For our entire team, Charlie, Mueseler, and Colin. We'll see you next time.